Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are well. I'm so giddy to be doing this healing, and there's so much energy already coming through for it. I didn't think I was going to be able to record back in New Jersey, but I'm here in the house that I grew up in, and it's it's very significant. This healing is for like clearing genetic inheritance that is, hereditary. I mean, any way that this can manifest through, it's just clearing negative inheritance, clearing genetic history. It's very strongly coming through as clearing in like physical presentation, and like symptoms and maybe like a physical ailment or pain that you carry from the genetic line, from inheritance. This is also going to be very powerful for the space that you're in. This is very, very powerful for like closing karmic cycles of the like closing karmic genetic cycles. Very powerful end of the year healing. These light beams are from light bulbs, but I've never seen I'm sorry if the sound in the video is not very good. I'm recording on my computer because I didn't bring any of the recording stuff with me. But sorry, it's backwards. But this is I've never seen light bulbs do this really like this in a recording, so we'd love to see it. I saw this magnificent rainbow sort of orb in the sky as I was driving down the New Jersey Turnpike. Um, it's a surprising energy to be in here in this space. My mom teaches CCD, and so that's where she is. My sister's still in New York, where I just came from, and I didn't think I would be alone. So here we are. And this is good. I think it's going to be really powerful. So just connecting in to the self. There's a excitement to know oneself free. There's a very big energy of like, I am free. I know myself free. I am free. Releasing inner child, very, very, very strong inner child, trauma, neglect, sadness, abuse of all kinds, manipulation, control, negation of self. Again, major physical component coming up, working with plasmic solar energies, connecting into the self that knows, the divine essence. Himai toyoto kinamayata yasikaya torokoishi. Himayana worokoi tayas notroai snaya. Hintaya korokuna namasana yana shataya sikayas notua. Himaya sotoa yashikayas natra. Hisaya shotoaini moruika. Hinatrayo soruitaya su. Shimaya yakinatraya sana yatayo sota. Really, really cool. I got in yesterday to LaGuardia, and I really wanted to go to the Met because I haven't been in a long time, and I didn't know, but the exhibit that's there now is Divine Egypt, and so it's like all of these deities coming through. Sekhmet, one of my favorites. Amasutu amna tayoso tayesha wasnatraya oso buddhatara kinamasun so washika hiwonuyum notoa ohi koyosotoa shanamatroati. Lots of emanations of the Buddha. Husnotroa yeshinimya isnatraya korku isnatra hinayana orrokuin yamnataya sono yishitoa osokuini himayana orroitia yashdorro kinatra himayanundara torrokuisitaya sihorruin yamnatroisishitaya sunsorro hinimnitritisiki indishaya. Very powerful cycle closing. Shimiandroatasaya. She like really putting it to rest, walking through that door of the next book of your life. Kinamatroais nitri, yana ishinindrea torayas natrayas not, koyan shorro kinindritis natra, himayas natrikin dishnatria noarritiki nayan sotroyasian shorrokoya. There was a lot of like little statues of bodhisattvas, and the message is coming through very strongly. Like, even if you come here to enlighten earth, if you come to assist others in their remembering, it doesn't mean that you come to suffer for them. Kinain sitayas notruiti shikia, you come to live. And so there's a really strong message coming through of like all of the sacrifice ideas or beliefs in sacrifice, all of the ideas or beliefs in martyrdom, and those kinds of themes of like suffering for others or putting yourself last, these kinds of things, like making yourself small so other people succeed, like negating your own self because you think it's what other people want, or, you know, succumbing to pressure of performance, and all of these different things, like really strong cycle closing. Like I've not quite felt something this powerful, like truly the visions that you've had for your life. Like I just feel so strongly, and I don't usually talk like this, that like now is the time for you, for us all, whoever is involved in this video, to be stepping into physically all of the visions, all that you're like working on, everything that you see, that it would just become so much easier to do so, and you finally see that like physically reflected back to you. This is so strongly because of this genetic clearing. Kina yesondoru hitayas natrikaya na yishikia taoruina mayas natraya, hina yisiotoruiti kina yasnoru kinitis. Shitaoru hinatra yasiti yayashikita, hyontorkuas dayashtiritianam nitra, hyonoroku yestaisi tishinin tayokorukina, hinitasu dosoyoshikinia, yamnitri tisoyoshokoi, hinitayakoi pitia yashi. Yanitria tosoro initra samashitayaka, hinianoroto yasini shintai. Hiorukuayana initayana, hionosamsa ishitayakaya. Hioru itain imaso toi sio toim yatasa yashitasa. Sayudoro kunipaya sayishitayana. Himayasantosa yishitikinitisia. And it's also coming through as like how we talk all of the time about how the world is changing and how we don't really quite know what it looks like yet, but we're still like building it by reconnecting to our awareness of it, where it is in creation, where we are there. You know, it's like new ways of working and relating to work. And like in the same sort of vein as like what we were just talking about closing, like cycles of work, like work having to suck. Like, oh, I have to sit down and work doesn't mean like I have to sit down for like 8 hours or 10 or 12 and do something that like I find meaningless or involves like a lot of unnecessary busy work, or having to deal with like competition and undercutting, and like working for something you never see benefits of, or not being able to like sort of creatively express yourself in any way, like servitude sort of energy. That like your life doesn't have to be that way, and you choosing to like express work in a different way does not take away anything from anyone else. It doesn't make what they do bad. It doesn't put you in a position of being superior or inferior. It is to take the sort of comparison out of it and let yourself love what you do. Like let yourself receive. Let yourself receive for doing what you love to do. Believe that is your way. Believe that is your work. Believe that is your career, like your lifeblood, like what sustains you. That is, you are worthy of that being like your creative endeavors, and that it's possible and it's real, and like that is what we are moving through. This week's trance meditation that I already recorded the voice for, but I have to do the music while I'm here, so it'll come out probably later this week, is about this like changing internal economy, this like creative economy that is very different from what we're used to, not at all like the economy that we have now that's based on like basically slavery and like servitude. Um, but and debt. Uh, but it's like coming from inside of the cells to be projected into physicality outward. And it's really, really, really connected to this solar cycle. Himaya soto rais nianayan shorkuini payas natra. Hinayan shitaya kunum natrayas nitri, hinayan shitayas notroan, himayana waruitayas notrui kinin dorui kini mashiti kaya, hinayon doraya torui ni natri kini sanitiana yitikia. Clearing like the hard palate, clearing the sinuses, clearing this all in here, this nerve root area, periodontal ligaments, like clearing out of this nishia isiot, all this that's being stored. Clearing the throat, clearing the esophagus, clearing the spinal column. Sitoyo toru kini tishima yani suyon sondroat, the shoulders, letting all this weight go. Hiniana worukuis non chipite ni sondroa tishi kini indriya un. Sian sondroi kina torroi taya shikayas natrayas no yondoroi taptaos. Hinin taya sinchi kiria roku nimna. Sin taya koroku isio torroi taya sin psitroitishi. I'm hearing like a different kind of instinct. Like what really it looks like is like it is. It's like it's clearing the need for survival instinct. Like sussing out danger, like anticipating danger, like um always being like hyper vigilant or really on alert because you're anticipating needing to be and that we know that when you go into like fight or flight, and some people live there, you know, like you are producing hormones, you're producing electrical charge, you're like that is living in your body. So like releasing this out. Kiaya sorkoiti kinandrato sosaya kinamashitaya sitawariti kia idi torokunaya him satrayas nisinsi kitaya kitaya hia shatorokua sunchiriti kina simitayana araya tosumsa ishtaworokuini matra yesioto shitaya sorokuisi triata rayas notron himayana tirikoyos notroais nishi sin sintritaya sorai hayatum himayana ruina in sitritis dayasho sitayosun sokoroa kinamata himayas natrayas notayana yotokoa shitikiri hininrinis nandrayas noshan sin sauruina boru hukuin himnatri tayaya koro hitaisi tishnatrayas nai himayana raya turukuin sunruat orokoa hitakaya, clearing in the lymph. Siotoro, this has been a big this has been coming through a lot in client sessions as well, like clearing out the lymph. There's something collective that's held, that's shifting. I mean, it's like a power shift. Hinaini tiorkuiti si kashna tra umnatini tayana yisiki yani torukui siotos yanash natraya nunta nitisi tishi saoshinikinia natra yonotoa tisi piasha yisiano amniti. There's a big theme of this. You know, I think going into the museum and being with all of these artifacts and pieces of art that carry so much priestess energy, that like you're not a martyr and you're not a servant to people's egos, and it's not about like rummaging around in timelines of war and like being so bogged down by the fight, or like I just think the way I've talked about this a lot lately, but like the way we relate to healing and what that means and what we find, like we're meant to be living in joy, and the side effect is that we transform like fear-based genetics and like historical record by virtue of light not like of darkness being nothing, and like when you turn on a light, the darkness in the room doesn't exist. It didn't go anywhere. It just doesn't exist because light and darkness don't exist in the, like, when you turn on light, there is no darkness. And because light is truth, darkness isn't real. And so we're not behaving such that we believe that the darkness or the enemy or whatever you call ego-based, fear-based tyranny as having any power at all. And so you don't have to relate to it in that way. And sometimes that's really difficult when you feel like you're in crisis. I'm not trying to discount that, but like the more that you kind of delay constant redirection of thought, and like you kind of rest in a sort of victimization, like letting yourself believe you're a victim of it, you give so much power away to it. And you're doing it, you're giving it. And so we're really being called to just try and to see that when we give our attention to more light, that the light does the work for you. And it can be easier. It's allowed to be easier. You don't have to keep extending these timelines of it being really difficult and you not having enough and you struggling through the way. Like that's like letting go of the expectation of any outcome except I am divinely guided. I am following my peace. I am following my center. And I know that creation is limitless. There is infinite potential of being, and that my thoughts direct what I experience. So like don't limit that in the context of a illusory structure, because it could be so much more. Don't limit yourself by how fast you think the world can change or not, how powerful you think darkness is or not. That it has to play out in some kind of like biblical scenario. Like it's just letting go of all of these stories, letting go of all the way you think the world works, letting go of all the way you think different dimensions work. Like really giving our mind to spirit to work through us instead of trying to make spirit work for you. Like work with it. Co-create. We don't understand creation. Ask. Show me what creation means. Show me how easy it is, because it is my function. If I'm created in the image of God, or I am a co-creator, what does it mean to be a creator? If God created me as itself and it is the creator, then why would it be difficult for me to fulfill my function? It would be inherent in my being as a creator, created like my own creator, where I never leave. That would be the most natural thing in the world. And yet we strive and we think only that which comes difficult is worth it. That's so effed up. Why do we want to believe that? And now with all of these all of this quantum biology, all of this like string theory, all of the quantum entanglement, all of the choice we know, all of how we know our attention and our thoughts direct, and we choose what we are in witness of and the way that it affects us and what we choose to believe about it, those things are now science. So why delay? Why delay, and why continue to keep thinking that it has to be that way because it's been that way in the past? Like, let's innovate. Let's let ourselves like innovate a little bit. Like allow new things. Allow something else to emerge, and you don't have to try so hard for it to happen. Sia tayo sorro kuis natri kinindi shini amma ruitisnaya. Sinio so oru itayas natruanis nidriti sin shitriki nai. Sianain shini triano ruiti payas natra oruiti hinintayas anta raya turro kuanain siotruayas notoyashikini. hini moyo torru ina porru kuiti kina, hini tisi shai, sian santratis isaya shini triatia na oni shini driki, hio roiti siata o shini maya natraya sunso orri taya sunso koashni tri, himian sani trayan onda paoshni kini taya snotroat, himin sia shono araya. And the sort of Hathor energy also coming through. Lots of really cool priestess support. And it really is like, this all comes through me. And so I interpret it also as my own guidance. And like, that's a role that is not known. A lot of like people throw it on their YouTube handles because it's like mystical or whatever. But like to truly hold that role, like you're not a servant to the algorithm. Like you have the power of God in you. Why are you afraid to say certain words on the internet and you're going to still call yourself a priestess? Like, there are ways of being. Like they're really coming through to be like, you're not a slave. Stop acting like a slave. The Son of God is not a slave. So let yourself like trust the universe, trust source, trust God, trust the Holy Spirit, and the co-creative power that everybody keeps saying they are and they have. Well, now actually trust it and let yourself walk in a new role, trusting that as you do so, you are supported. Everything you need is there for you. If you need it, it will be there. And again, we talk about the illusion of need. If you require it, it's there. You need nothing because you have nothing. What is necessary for the journey and the purpose emerges. You don't have to tell your higher self that. It knows. It sees. It knows what is required. Shini sanitro ayam natrua yisita yashnotrua nitri kini toi oruitia. And there's lots of healing in the way we relate to the divine in this. Because it's the way we relate to ourselves. We have to see ourselves as the divine. It is coming from the one self. You don't need it because you already have it, because you are the infinite field. And so you don't strive for it. You don't work hard to think about it. You let it come through. And David Lynch has been coming up through on my YouTube a lot lately. So I've been listening to him talk. He was so into transcendental meditation, and he would say, like, the ideas, like you don't sit down in meditation to like come up with ideas or have the ideas like come. You go to let yourself be taken up by and feel yourself extend into, to merge into the unity field, to rejuvenate yourself, to call yourself home, to remember yourself home, to be light, to be one, to know yourself one, to be in creation, to be in the field of the all. And then when you come back into embodiment, when you come back into living in the world, that the ideas come so much easier because you're like sort of constantly in that direct experience. And I'm always talking about how that direct experience is the most important practice, because when you open to flow and you let yourself be led by it. And there is something also coming through about just in general being less resistant to things you thought you really didn't want to do because they were going to be hard. But when you walk in with a different attitude, when you walk in a different relationship to what's happening around you, that what previously could have been thought of as awful is an opportunity, not to like look at it in terms of like, well, I'm turning like hell into heaven, right? Or like I'm taking this really bad experience and like thankful to be transmuting, like just to learn, like to be curious about it and to like just be less sort of serious and this was coming through for days. Like stop catastrophizing it all. Like don't be so stark. Don't be so it just doesn't need to be looked at with the sort of stakes that we're looking at it with. I think we're going to end it because this is going a little bit long. So just taking some nice deep breaths, bringing yourself back into this moment of self. I want to extend all my gratitude to everyone who is a part of the channel and all the members and everyone who is subscribed. One-on-ones will be closed until I get back to Colorado. They'll be open again on the 30th if you want to book in. Lots of super powerful energy. The one-on-ones are like my favorite thing. I have such beautiful conversations with people, and it's such a crazy opportunity to rest in the oneness with each other and to learn more about ourselves and reveal more and feel better and reconnect to ourselves in creation. And yep, the trance meditation will be out later this week. If you want to sign up for my newsletter, those always get announced. I also post links to them here. Other stuff on my website if you want to check that out. I think that's it. God bless you all if you celebrate the holidays. I wish you a very happy holiday and a happy new year, although I'm sure I will post again before the new year. Who knows? Who knows what kind of time I'll have. So thank you all, and I'll see you next time. God bless you.